All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Sport webinar. Today's date is Wednesday, July 27th, 2016. And the title of tonight's webinar is 5 Safe Trades with Viper Tools Made Even Better with Power Meter. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading rooms, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we might have, our live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. All right. Now, before we get started, I'm sure we've got some new people in the room, so I want to go over a couple of things, and it'll take very little time, but I've been asked to do this by some people. And I want to make sure that everybody's up to par on what we're doing here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show a screen like I do on Wednesday nights. You should be able to see a black screen with some numbers on it. Now this is a real chart with real prices on it. Okay, all I did was simply transparented out everything. I've mentioned that before in webinars. But what I want to do before we get started is ask real quick, how many of you have gotten good enough where you can identify the swings as they happen? Everybody? Good, good. Okay, good, good. One no. Okay, that's okay. Other yeses. All right. So if you know how to identify the swings, then how could you get on the wrong side of a trade? It would be pretty hard to do, right? And that's extremely important because your identified swings is what makes a difference in how you trade and how much money you can make. Let's see, at some time during this webinar, please let us know about these trades during periods outside our normal trading room times for those who would like to trade but can't be in the room. And Kenneth, to your question, that's very good. The thing is, though, that everything I'll teach tonight is, it can be applied, obviously, any time of the day. Okay, because price doesn't change. It may slow down, it may speed up, but it doesn't change. Okay, the trade sometimes gets on the wrong side of you. Okay, so let me ask a quick question. On this chart right now, can you identify the low swing? Everybody type it in if you don't mind. I won't single anybody out if you miss it. Okay, okay, all right, okay. Okay. Several of you are missing it, going for what I call the larger swing, and I'm going to explain the difference in this tonight. Okay, because that's also extremely important. That's the whole idea of why we developed Power Meter, because you have 4 trends on your chart, and there are identified swings on each and every one of them. And if you learn to see those, you'll be able to get out of trades quicker. You'll be able to get into trades quicker. You'll be able to go with trades that are going the right direction, and you'll make money. Okay? And you don't have to have all those indicators out there, and you don't have to go for the newest thing that somebody's designed. Now, obviously you think, well, you designed this stuff, right? Well, that's true, but everything that we have developed has been developed on price action. Everything. Okay? Because price action is the key to what's going on your chart. Okay, so several of you typed in that this is your low swing. I'm going to go ahead and bring my cursor over here and actually mark it, that that's your low swing. And several of you have said that this is your low swing. Okay, now true, this is your low swing on evidently a larger swing. This is actually your 12 range swing right here. But keep in mind that when a swing's been identified by X ticks, it's actually pretty good to understand that you're really looking at an identified swing. Okay? For instance, if you were to draw this with lightning 3, okay, this is what you would have right now. Let's just take this off here because we know this is going to very possibly break down or something like that. That's fine. But see what it does? It does thrust, retrace, thrust. This is 12, 13, 90. This is 12, 15, 30. That's 14 ticks. So that is definitely an identified swing down here. Okay. In other words, thrust, retrace only becomes identified when this swing gets taken out. Quite simple, actually. Okay. Now I want to show you something else. I want to show you how you get faked. Now this broke down and you could have shorted this, right? Obviously you could have shorted it. And I'll show you some trades in here that I'm going to teach the 5 safest trades you can take. All right, let's look at some more swings. Now we've got a low here. Is this actually an identified low swing? It's not yet, is it? Because we haven't had any thrust to the upside. Okay, now watch. Okay, you're starting to get a little higher low right there. Okay, now, is this an identified swing at 1209.90 now? Now it is. That's correct. That absolutely is correct. Okay, so that's what you've got to really, really learn to start seeing on your charts, because identified swings will make a huge difference in how you trade and how you make money every single day. Okay, let me see if I can show you something here, because I have some questions on here. Can you identify the swings as they happen? You said yes. And when does a swing become identified? Let's see, confused doesn't have to go below it to be identified. Well, it depends which direction you're going, Mindy. Let me just go over that again real quick. All right, let's look at this right here before this does anything else. You had a thrust, you had a retrace, all right? Now let's go over to the side a little bit more again. I'll get this over here out of the way for just a second. Okay, now we don't know where the identified swing is at this very moment. Let's take this line down because we don't know. Okay, right now it's down here, to be truthful. Okay, but once it does, you know, identifies this one. Now this number will not show up like this. It'll show up more about the time that it's actually done some bars through here. And that's why we set ours on 15. Works quite well. Okay, but this swing right here at the bottom is only identified when that's taken out by X ticks, right? So in other words, until that's taken out, this could go chopping sideways. This could even make a lower low than that, but still not be heading down yet. Okay, it could just be checking some of these previous support levels. But when it breaks like that, and you're taking that out by a good, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 ticks, something like that, then this is an identified swing. So when this gets taken out, and we do this all the time in the room, you get that nice quick little short. Okay, now you've also got some other trades on this chart. Once it starts breaking down, for instance, what do we have? Well, we have predictors on here. And what happens? It comes up and kisses predictors and it rolls over. And I'll show those in real time too, because I want to show you the 5 safest trades that you can possibly take and get green every day. Okay? All right, let's go to another chart. Yeah, the downward would be just absolutely the opposite of that. That's correct. And then bank some coin. That's exactly right. Now, anybody have any ideas what the 5 trades are without me listing them yet? I think some of you that have been with us a while probably do. But let's go ahead and show those. And these are not, you know, they don't necessarily have to be in order of importance. These are just 5 easy trades, easy safe trades that you can make some money. Okay, let me show them to you. All right. First of all, just like we did a minute ago, you want to actually check to see what the trend is. Well, we make that really easy because we have things on our charts that actually show those. And our power meter will keep you on the right side of the trade too. Notice the power meter is actually showing power meter 3 and 4 is green. So what trade are we really looking for on this chart? It's come down, right? And we're waiting for a retracement. Long, absolutely. Okay, so what I'm going to teach tonight, and I hope I can get through all 5 of these, but trade 1, we'll be talking about predictor for scalps and targets. Trade 2, we're going to talk about kiss trades. Keep it simple, stupid is what I learned years ago when I was in sales. I was in sales for 35 years of my life. And we learned one thing, and that was KISS. Keep it simple. Don't go over explaining everything when you're selling. And we're not selling here, obviously, but we still want to keep it simple. And KISS trades are great. You're going to find if you can see those KISS trades, you can be ready to take that trade. Mid-band retracement trades. Well, I'll go over these trades, so I won't explain what it is just yet. Phantom trades done right. Okay, and then your tight region breakout trades. Those are 5 really good trades that can absolutely change your trading and make you profitable. Now, what we're going to do tonight, just to prove this can be profitable, we're going to only scalp. We're probably not going to get any $5,000 or anything like that. I really don't care, because there's a lot of you that just want to make, say $400 or $500 a day would be plenty, wouldn't you think? For a lot of people, that's $125,000 a year. That would be plenty, wouldn't it? I mean, 100 a day, obviously, we want to all make more than that if we can, because that's only, like 26,000 a year. That's not enough. Oh, actually, let's see, 500 a week. Well, yeah, it would be about 26,000. That wouldn't be much. So what we want to do is we want to beef that up. Okay. So these are the trades that I'm going to teach. And let's go ahead and go to a real chart with bars on it and everything. And let's see if we can take some of these trades. Okay. Let's just see if we can take some of these trades. Bear with me just 1 second, and I'll have my chart up. Hopefully I didn't lose it. Nope, I didn't lose it. Let's see. All right, let's go with the first trade. And we're going to go with Object Trader. And to make it easy, I'm just going to go ahead and do 3 quantity. And we're going to simply go for 10 ticks. We'll just put 10 ticks on our first target, and we don't care about the rest of them because we're just simply going to go for 3, and we can put 10 on all 3 of these, so that'll be all of our targets, just 10, 10, and 10. That way it doesn't go for 5 ticks or anything like that. We're just going to strictly try to get 10 ticks. And if we can do that, that's $300 a trade. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if we can do that. 10, 10, and 10, 3 contracts. I'm going to take this trade right here if it materializes. Okay, if it doesn't materialize, we'll look for another one. All right, let's see if we can get it. Just strictly predictor trades first off, scalping only, and we're going to see if we can get them. Hopefully, I didn't pick a time of the night that it's just deader than a hammer, but we'll find out. I'll kick it up to about 10 times or so and see if we can get it. See if we can get any movement at all, that is. There we go. I'm going to watch for that to be touched. The ellipse does appear beforehand too, Pervez, on your question. Absolutely. That's the beauty of these predictors. They will appear in real time, in time for you to get to it. In other words, that predictor is already there waiting for you to get down to it to take the trade. Okay? And now we're in a sideways motion right now. We haven't even taken out the high. So this is a little lower than the previous one, but we're going to take it. Okay? And I'll just show you if we can get into it and see if we can get 10 ticks. Now I've got that running 15 times, so we're going to miss it if I go any faster than that. So let's just see if we can get it. And again, believe me, this goes at all times of the day. You can trade. Now at the open of the market, I highly recommend being a little bit more into the runner, where you can actually get a good runner, because runners are pretty good and you can make some really good money trading at the open of the markets. But let's see if we can get this trade. This is actually technically showing up about as slow as it would be if you were sitting there watching your computer. My stop, I'm just going to go ahead and leave on 12 until the trade actually materializes, and then I'll show you where I put my stop. I mean, right now you put it under here, obviously, right? But we got to see where this triggers, because I'm going to buy the first bar that at least touches here, okay, and then bounces back up. See if we can get something. Wow, did I pick a slow time of the evening, evidently, but we'll get it. Now, if we don't get this, guess what? I'll go into teaching the kiss trade next instead, because we'll look for a kiss trade if it breaks up. But let's see if we can get it. Would you have stopped out? No, I don't think so, because you would have gotten in here, and would that have kept you in? I think it would have. We'd have to check that and see, because if you took this one here, you know, I would have expected it to at least hit its head here. That's the swing, and that's pretty much where it did. You know, so technically this trade would have been better if you waited for mid-band. And this is that first time in the mid-band trade, which is really good way to do it to begin with. I'm going 20 times and this thing's not even moving. Let's kick it up to 30. Hopefully I can get it. Okay. See if we can get it. We're going to get on top of that ellipse right there, and we're going to turn on bar close. Okay. There's bar close on. We're at our ellipse. Let's see if we can get it. There we go. We just got our trade. Let's see if we can get 10 ticks. See if we can get 10 ticks. And by the way, I would go ahead and put my stop as an exit on close. And pretty much for right this very second, I think we're okay where it's at, because it's holding this this support right here. See how it's wicking it right now? So far anyway, it's wicking it. Okay, with 3 contracts, you're going to be down a little bit naturally. We'll see if we can get back up to break even at least. We took the trade based on the bar close. That's where it got us in. Popped up. And we will change our stop, though, if this thing decides to pop up. Okay? Now, I like to draw lightning on my chart, and if I see lightning, okay, I know that if this does decide to pop up, it should hit here, right? That's your lightning swing. And if you look again, it should hit right here looking to the left to trade the right. Okay, so I would probably put that trade for here instead, simply because, well, you can actually draw a trend line on it too. See it right here? I'm pretty sure it's going to hit right in through there. We'll see. If we lose 300 on this one, we're going to take it again. Then we'll be back at break even, right? If we get a good trade. We're going to just simply trade the predictor. You are short at the top of the ellipse. Let's see. Well, no, Pervez, on your question, the way you do on this, this trade here, if you've got the blue and the green predictors, these ellipses here, you're looking to buy the green one. Okay, if you're the pink side, you're looking to sell the white ones. Okay, so let's see if we can get something out of this. Well, we're back to at least break even. How about that? Now, I'd probably bring my stop just right under here. See, you've got a little lightning right there. You know, each time they pop up like that, they should respect, they've already checked support. Okay? And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and just go for this swing right here simply because of that trend line. And we'll see if we can get a few hundred. Because with that trend line, I don't think we're going to hit that ellipse up there at the top. Everybody know why? Because you clearly got a trend line that's heading down right now, right? See if we can get something out of this trade. And we're going to simply scalp this. We're going to see if we can scalp this and get some coin. That's why you don't like it, Ed? Well, one thing about that type of trade, though, it can still give you some pretty decent money. You just got to be willing to kind of wait for it. You know, this is fairly sideways. See, that did a little fake on the power meter. That's okay. We'll go ahead and stick it out and see if we can get something. I'd probably put my stop back under here just in case, simply because they're coming down to test this area again. but I'm not going to short it. Okay, because of why? Because my power meters are green. Let's just see what we can get. Now, do most of you get nervous and go, oh my gosh, I'm down 150 bucks, click? Because if you do, you'll do 150 on this trade, 150 on the next one, 150 on the next one, and you'll be down $450. Yeah, see, Ed says, I've seen some great predictor trades this week. Yeah, and others are saying yes, but then I regret it. Because what's the whole idea of trading? You got to stick with the particular trend, okay? You got to trust the software. You got to trust your instincts once you learn, and then just absolutely stick with the trade. See, I'm only down 90 now. Now I'm down 0. See there? I think 1217 is all they're going to hit because that's my trend line really, really close. So I'm going to close it if that bar even tries to come down below that line I've got drawn. That'll be still 180 bucks or so. Good enough. Okay, we got 120 on that trade. Everybody see why? Came close to my trend line. Okay. Now, it may go ahead and blow up through the trend line. That's fine with me, but I'm going to show you a little bit of scalping today. Okay, well, that would have gotten us our profit target after all. It did hit the trend line. That's okay. We're going to go for another setup. Let's see on Pervez, your question earlier. Where's that predictor now? Printed it already for us. We know where our predictor's at. You see that? Now, right now, it's right down here. Okay? It doesn't mean if it gets certain price action, it might not end back up here again. Okay? So right now, we're looking for this trade. Okay? But we're going to let it go ahead and do what it needs to do. Okay? So let's go ahead and see if we can get any more of this. Now, I'm not going to take this trade again, scalping it, unless we get a thrust and a pullback. That would be our KISS trade. So let's see if we can get this thing going. We got 120 bucks. Not a lot, but nothing to sneeze at. I mean, it's profitable. Okay, let's see if we can get another. All 4 power meters are green, telling you don't you dare go short. Now, I could show you how to short some things with trend lines, but we're not going to go over that tonight. We might do that next week, if y'all want to talk about some counter trend trades, because I more than likely would have shorted that line for at least a good 7-8 ticks. But we're not going to do that tonight. I want to show you how to make money with the 5 safest trades, because I could also get my teeth handed to me shorting that trend line. It could go bloom right through it. Okay, whoa, wait a minute. See your predictor? See your predictor? Let's go ahead and buy it. If it closes up. Tell you what, it'll bounce right there. I can tell you why. Because see, it already checked a little lower. Now it's going to check the actual swing. I'd be doing this, but let's just see if we can go ahead and get a predictor anyway. Okay? We'll get us a predictor. If it closes. Slow, slow, slow. Now, by the way, we can beef this up a little bit more if you want and do like 5 contracts and only go for like 7 ticks if you want. Predictor entry is always bar close? Not necessarily, Carl. You can actually take it. You know, when I see support like this, I'd already be doing this. I'd be buying it. But to be fair on it, since we're going to take the trade that goes up, we're going to do the same thing on each one of these and see if we can get profitable. Now, to me, this is a KISS trade, and I would probably jump on that, okay? Especially when that predictor is telling me to. But let's just see if it'll get a close bar. If it will, we'll take it. Slow, slow, slow. Bar close to the upside. 4 ticks. Still got my trend line drawn too. Okay, we got us a trade, right? Put my stop right under the swing. Okay, let's see what we can get on this one. Now, we may go back to break even. I don't know. You know, we've done this before in webinars, and these predictors work out pretty well. And by the way, you can also just take coin. When you see it, you know, take some coin. You know, for instance, if with 3 contracts you get 7 ticks, that's an extra $200. Take it. That is actually a bull flag, actually. They call it a pennant, don't they? But the one thing about it, I'm going to show you how with these predictors you can trade this hopefully several times before it breaks up. And if it breaks up, I'm going to show you how to do a kiss trade. Is the predictor the pink line or the white dotted line inside the ellipse? Well, no, the predictor is actually the whole ellipse itself, but your first line you draw on top of the ellipse, the second one's in the middle of the ellipse, and then you know, if it breaks the ellipse to the downside, it's more than likely changing trends. But just because you're getting lower ellipses and they're still green doesn't mean you're changing trends. Now, personally, I'd be looking for this trade right here, like so, and that would only be like 6 ticks, wouldn't it? Because of that swing. If you want to scalp it, you want to scalp it and see what we can get? Because we're just simply looking for scalp trades to see if we can get to resistance. And there's our resistance. You can tell. You know, it's got the little resistance area there, and of course we can break through there, get here, then here, then here. Exit on close, not worried about the trade, feeling a little bit of heat. See if we can get something on this trade. See if we can get something on this trade. Let's see, downline takes the target lower, but a breakout would be nice. Well, definitely, we'll talk about some of those too in just a little bit, where you can box in the mid band. There's also a swing across here. On this side, there's a swing across here, which it's just now hitting. Just see if we can scalp this silly thing. This is pretty sideways. And when I'm looking to the left to trade the right, when they're sideways like this, I look to my previous swings. And I don't let them take coin back from me either, because if you let them take it back, you'll end up, you know, very possibly being down on it. I just want to see if we can absolutely just scalp this little predictors. Now, this is another reason that I personally like to get this trade before it ever gets all the way up to here. That's the problem with trading with spreads and everything. See, you should have been filled like right here, and instead you get filled right here. Because to me, that's still a risky trade because I've got resistance across here. And they've already checked that. Now, if they break it, we should go a little higher, maybe to this little resistance area here, looking to the left to trade the right. But we've also got a lightning swing that we can protect ourselves right there if it closes above the swing here on what we call our little micro lightning. So I'll set it here for right now, but if it closes above this swing, we'll go ahead and bring our stop a little tighter. See, this is just like real trading, isn't it? It's easy to get taught on charts that are after the fact and stuff like that, and I'm not saying that some vendors do that, but I think there are some. But if you actually learn to see on a chart in real time, you can still make some pretty good money, okay? Because these predictors, our first trade that we're talking about tonight, have actually done it here, here, so far here. We'll bring my stop right under there. And why did I do that? Because you can see the little thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace, thrust. It's like a little lightning to the upside. Okay, and if we don't get any coin on this one, this doesn't look like this is going up yet to me. You're really going sideways and they're starting to tighten up. You can kind of feel it. They're just forming, like was said just a little bit ago, a pennant. Kind of like right through here. And a lot of times if you take the bodies of the candles instead, you can actually pretty much go with that first one and see this is kind of maybe where they're going to hit their head, because they don't always go by the wicks on their mathematics. We'll see. But if they don't, we're only going to get hurt for 3 ticks. That's not going to kill us, right? And it looks like we might get hit for 3 ticks. We'll see. But what are we going to do? Are we going to cry in our beer, so to speak? I don't drink, so I don't cry in my beer. But anyway, no, we're going to look for the next predictor. Well, Kenneth, on your question, yeah, we're ignoring power meter because I'm just teaching the predictor trades. We're going to talk about some times to trade. When you're going to really want to use this is when they've retraced and opens and things. This is probably a pretty slow time of the day. This is 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm not even up at this time. So this would not be my time to trade. See, it took out that swing there. I'm going to protect this trade just in case it doesn't take this out. It barely did take out my trend line. And it looks like we're going to be flat. So we're only up probably 60 bucks. We'll find out if it closes. This is that sideways chop. You just got to take some coin. The main thing is stay green, right? Stay green. Okay, you got a thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace, thrust. Technically, your stop would be under here, but I don't like the fact that they hit my line exactly looking to the left to trade the right. You can see your swings if you draw your lightning. See your swings right across there? That's all they hit, so I bet we get stopped out. But we're not going to cry in our beer. We're just going to wait and see if we can get some profit. Okay? And it looks like that one's going to stop us. Exit on close. So we're only up $75 and some chop, maybe, if this doesn't just plow it down. $76. How long have we been trading? Well, actually about 2 hours. So that's not great, but it is still profitable. See if we can do, if this stops us out, we're going to look for, well, actually probably a phantom trade, because it sure is getting lower highs and lower lows a little bit, but we're still not changing trends. Still have not changed trends. So let's see if we can get another trade if this one doesn't work out. I'm going to take my profit right there if it happens to get it. See if we can at least get a few $100s. This is looking really, really choppy. I'm closing. We kept 180 bucks. See why I closed on that? It hit that twice, and it did not go through it, not even with a wick. So I closed it out. And it may go ahead and go up there to the trend line, but I don't care. We kept 180 bucks. Now let's look and trade our ellipse again. See if we can get an ellipse trade. See, this first trade I'm teaching is strictly to learn how to trade these ellipses. Predictor trade is good when midband is straight. I think so too. Does everybody see where the ellipse is right now? Where's the ellipse? It's right there. So we're gonna go ahead, since this is as choppy as it is, let's go ahead and rethink our strategy. I'm gonna go 5, 8, and 10. That way we can hopefully get some targets first, because this is not really trying to go for my targets. But by us watching the swings, we're still doing okay. Let's see if we can get another trade. It's got to touch the ellipse first, but that bar looks like it might. We're going to just do this with 3 contracts too. I would probably kick up the contracts a little bit, but let's just do it with 3. Let's see if we can get a few $100. It's another predictor trade. Technically, I'd be looking for this trade right here. Looking to the left to trade the right. Well, there's actually a swing right there. There's the predictor. There's the middle of the predictor. And there's phantom. We're going to talk about phantom trades here in just a few minutes there. That's going to be our trade right there. Anybody scared of this one yet? I'm not as of yet, because we haven't really had a phantom trade. This has actually got the wrong background on it. That's why that changed to red. That's right. I was showing that last weekend, wasn't I? Last week. This is the other background that we can use. I'll show you how to use that. Okay, we're going to take 3 contracts again. And when you get in a trade, you've also got to know about where it's going. So if this does bounce, I expect it to go here. I expect it to go as high as here. That'd be your second area, see your swing. And then I would expect it to go across this area like right here, or even here. Looking to the left, trade right, and even here. Okay, we're in. We're in. See if we can get a scalp trade. And remember, if we get in a trade and we get a scalp, we're not looking for runners on this unless they break up and we get a kiss trade. And then I'm going to show you my next favorite trade, which is the kiss trade. Would you move your stop up? Let's see. Let's look at this real quick. I see a swing area right across here, so that's pretty much where they're checking. That's your secondary swing. Yeah, I'd move it up under, probably a few ticks right underneath that swing right there. It could absolutely do that, but keep in mind, Ed's saying, well, this could kiss off a midband and go short. But what I'm going to do, we'll show some counter trend trades next week. But today I want to just show to stay with the trend. I do see what you're talking about, though. If it hits a midband, I'd probably short it in a heartbeat if it rolled over. With power meter changing to red in background, wouldn't you be staying to look for shorts? No, well, normally, Ian, on your question, yes. But keep in mind, this is not about power meter right now. This is strictly trading predictor to show you that you can make money trading it. I'm not caring what power meter does or anything right now. I'm strictly trading the predictor to see if we can get green. And so far it's working quite well. Yeah, that's the beauty of these power meters like this. Not the power meter, pardon me, the predictor. See how that trade worked out? Now, if they make a little lightning swing, so far they've just thrust up. We haven't gotten our target yet, our 10 tick target, that is. We'll see if we can get it. We might not. I'm not going to move it. We're just going to leave it at 10. You see what it's doing right now, though? It's trying to hit this swing right here. How do you know where to take trades with particular touch at the top or touch at the middle or touch at the bottom? Well, Chai, what I'm showing here is just simply turn on bar close when it touches the predictor. See, in other words, like right here, you would have taken the trade on this bar close right there. See how those went down, down, down? Touch predictor, bar close went up. You went up a little bit. You didn't get taken out of the trade. You got 10 ticks. This one here, we simply went bar close. We're trying to get 10 ticks. Haven't gotten it yet. If it forms lightning, we will bring our stop up. Okay, because we already got 2 contracts that paid off. And by the way, Ed, on your question, yeah, I'd definitely be shorting that for a quick pop. But what I want to show tonight is how you can trade predictor and stick with it and more than likely make money. Strictly going to trade predictors. Probably, well, we're going to have to get on some other trades here pretty quick because we're not really into the other trades yet, are we? Well, let me talk about some of the other trades real quick while we're doing this. Let me just go ahead and go to another chart. We'll leave this one going and I will show some of these other trades. But what I wanted to show really tonight also was with a safe trade like that, you could literally set your trades up to be just that particular trade, couldn't you? Absolutely. Let me go ahead and set 2 charts up side by side because I want to show you some other trades and teach them while we're watching our predictor trade. And we got our target, by the way. Remember we had our target right up there. Okay, what are we doing now? Well, we're going to look for a predictor or we're going to look for a thrust and retrace, aren't we? But predictor is what we're trading. So let's see, this is taking a little longer than I wanted it to on the predictor side, but that's okay because if we can learn this particular trade tonight, you can make some serious coin every single day. And then I'm going to talk probably the last 15 minutes about the other trades. Let's talk about this one real quick too. All right, the mid-band trade, what you're looking for anytime you take a mid-band trade is you're looking for a first time after a trend change. In other words, we go from a red background, red mid-band to a green. We're looking for first time in the mid-band or predictors, okay, for those trades. All right, then when you change backgrounds again, you're looking for first time in the mid-band or predictors, and those are good trades. We can break it in 2 sessions. I wish I was teaching Saturday, but Charles is actually teaching Saturday. But that's okay. We can definitely break it into 2 sessions. So everybody, I think everybody in the room knows what to look for on a mid-band trade because that's a really important trade. But keep in mind that the predictor is going to predict where to do it on the mid-band to begin with. Okay, so that kind of sets you up for the phantom trades, the mid-band trade, as a predictor trade. Okay, let's go to this one and see. Okay, we don't have anything going right now. I'm going to change this background back to our regular template because I'm not going to use this particular template because we use a different one in the room. Okay, bear with me a second. And we probably killed our money on that because this is in replay mode, so obviously, no, the money's still there. Now, I would probably be taking this trade right here long, but we're not going to because the predictor's already gone. There's another predictor right there. Let's just see where the predictor ends up, and we'll take the first one we see, and let's just see if it doesn't work out. Didn't touch that one, so we're not in. Remember our KISS trade we're talking about? Wow, that was quick. Okay, let's look at this. Notice how this thrust up and it pulled back and made a predictor. Is that trade profitable? Your 410 would be up higher, right? That's definitely not a bad way to trade, is it? Now look at your very next one. If we get another one, let's see if we get another one. I'll speed this up again. This way we can do this without this slowness. Watching in real time, fast real time. Now this trade right here, I would probably take simply because it came down. This was our, what we call our region trade. That's another trade I wanted to teach tonight. This is your break out of your box. Okay, and that turned out to be a very, very decent trade too. Remember that one? We called that in the room this morning. Okay, now let me ask you a quick question. On this chart that we're looking at, and I'm going to go ahead and go back to that black chart. Bear with me a second. Let's go all the way over to the left. Okay, this is not identified yet, right? This 12-18-20, right? Let's see if it gets identified. And then I want you to tell me where the short is if we happen to get it, because I remember this morning we pretty much nailed a short. I'm going to stop the chart because this is another very important trade. We took this trade and it was called, okay? Your identified swing is 12-18-20. Clearly, 12-19-80, 12-18-20, 12-20-50, plenty of motion up, right? So this is what we call your identified swing. Now, when your identified swing is only like a few ticks, you know, and then it identifies, be careful with those because they'll usually come down a little bit and fake people in. But when they make a nice swing like this, this is your identified swing, okay? So this is where we called that short this morning. Everybody remember that? That's one of my other favorite trades. And by the way, the KISS trade, which is what I'm going to teach next, is this trade that we called in the room this morning. Let's go ahead and see it. Everybody see it? Where I called this trade this morning? What did it break? Let's get rid of all this. It broke right across here, 12-18-20. See, that was the identified swing. Look at that. And what did it do when it broke it? It came back and it exactly kissed it. Now, what I usually do on a KISS trade is I look and see where it's at, and I usually put Object Trader for something like touch plus 2 or 3 even, because you don't want to miss that trade. And usually what we'll do also is we'll say, if it comes up within a couple of ticks of here or so, get ready to take the bar rollover, okay? Because that can turn into a nice monster trade. Everybody remember that trade? We got that this morning. I showed my price on it. I got 12.18 on it. And we nailed that trade. Okay, so let me ask you a quick question again. Where's your next trade on this chart if you happen to get it? Let's see. Well, Kenneth, you're always looking at swings, and identified swings can definitely get you in a trade a little earlier, but I highly recommend if you want a safe trade, wait for the KISS. Okay, because what we had this morning is we had some people take this trade. We called it. You got easily 10 ticks. We also mentioned that it was a phantom trade to the upside. People got that, and then we said we're looking for it to hit resistance, and we called the rollover. And that trade turned out to be, well, quite frankly, it was a monster, wasn't it? It absolutely was. Now, I want to show you something else. When you get a trade like this that just drops like a stone, I want to show you a little secret that I've learned over the years watching these charts. Does everybody know what it is? If you've got a thrust retrace, big thrust, where's that resistance at on this chart? Yeah, see, Chai, that's what I want to show you today too, because what you want to always do is you're looking for these trades. If they've broken an area, to give an example, and they've, kissed it, but they haven't really done it like even twice, for instance, you get these little moves like this. Well, what I would do is I would watch midband carefully, take a trade with a tight stop, but I would be looking for a trade more in through here because it hadn't really done anything to check it. See, it hasn't even checked that area yet. See there? When it breaks down like that, they usually kiss. Okay? So what you're looking for is you're looking for like a little kiss up there. All right? Now, also, when you've taken a trade like this and you got this monster short, do you need to be messing around with this anymore to begin with? Exactly. So what were the trades we were going to teach tonight? Let's see here. We talked about predictor for scalps and targets. We're talking about kiss trades right now after a thrust move. Mid-band retracement trades, I explained how to do them. Phantom trades done right means that you're looking for the first time into phantom after a trend change. All right, so if you don't even care about mid-band, but you want a phantom trade, then look for this trade right in through here. You don't have to worry about the mid-band or anything if you just simply wait around. In other words, I don't care if it does this and rolls over. I want the phantom trade. You can wait for the phantom trade because usually they'll give it to you. And if it doesn't do it now, it'll give it to you later. You want to see if that one actually does? Let's find out. Headed down some more. There's your first predictor. It's kind of blowing up through the predictor, isn't it? Where's your phantom now? Well, your phantom's right in through here, isn't it? Everybody see that? Now, I'd be shorting that right about through there myself because it hit phantom. Everybody see that? And look at that predictor on the money. What about this predictor? Now, I'm going too fast on this because we got to wrap this up pretty quick, but I'll slow it down now. All right, let's say that you got your phantom trade. There's a predictor, 10 ticks. There's a predictor, more than likely 10 ticks. We'll see if we get another one. No predictor yet. We'll take the first predictor. Now notice we had several we could have taken, right? Predictor. See if it works for me. Bingo. Okay. Where's our next trade on the chart? What does everybody think? Well, when you don't take out these lows, what you got to watch for is these deeper retracements, okay? See that phantom? See that phantom trade right there? They're amazing. I've got this thing going like 300 times, so obviously it's going to be impossible to trade. But look at these particular trades, the way they set up on these charts. Watch for the predictors, or pardon me, the phantoms. There's a nice trade. I don't normally take the second one as a rule, because if you do take the second ones, a lot of times they just won't work out. Look at that predictor trade. Is it going to work? We'll find out. Bingo, 10 ticks. And lots more if you go for your runner, of course, but that's okay. There's another predictor right there, 10 ticks. Didn't take out the top, so you want lower. I wouldn't trust this predictor as much, but that was 10 ticks too. There's another predictor right there, 10 ticks. Almost 10 ticks maybe. Everybody see that? How you can literally trust this little thing right here? No phantom short because of a higher, let's see, typically how many mid-band trades will you take in a row? MG Mac, on your question, what you want to do on a mid-band trade, and we've got still a few minutes to talk about this, I'll slow this down. I'm going to teach the mid-band trade how you really want to watch for it, okay? Watch for the predictor for one thing. Now, the most important time you can take a mid-band trade is on a long if it at least touches mid-band. And your predictor is going to be there letting you know that to begin with, okay? But if you take them earlier than that, you're taking a lot more chance because they usually come back to this medium, so to speak, okay? Then when they ratchet up, this is like a second time in to mid-band. It didn't quite get there. This one did, below it, and you take the trade. Didn't ratchet up, but hit mid-band. Could you have taken the trade? You wouldn't have gotten stopped out. Probably going to get 10 ticks. But see how the predictor, if you just want to scalp even, let's just look at this from 1324 on. All right, let's say that you took this one on the bar close. Not get stopped out. Maybe that was 10 ticks, maybe it wasn't. Still didn't stop you out because your stop was under here, right? And got that monster move. You get a thrust, you wait for the ellipse, there's a trade, 10 ticks, there's a trade, 10 ticks, there's a trade, 10 ticks, there's a trade, 10. That one we don't know yet, but it looks like it might be 10 also. Works on all of them. Works on every single chart. And notice, Pervez, on your question there, they show up in real time. You notice when I was playing this back from real-time data that these predictors were on the chart long before the price got there. And that's all you've got to do is trade them like that. And it's just amazing how accurate it is. And basically, that predictor trade sums up those other 5 trades quite well, actually. What does everybody think about that particular trade? Pretty cool, huh? Now this looks like this is pretty close to the end of the day, but you want to see if it went ahead and got the 10 ticks? We'll find out. You took the predictor right here on this bar close, did not get it here, probably didn't get stopped out. It depends where you put your stop, you know, because if you don't get your scalp, you got to have your stop lag back a little bit. You just have to do that. Because if you only get like 5 or 6 ticks and then they come down and try to take these, they're usually not heading down. They're still heading up. Let's find out if it does. There you go. There's your 10 ticks for sure. You know, sometimes these things seem almost invisible on your charts, but if you'll learn to see them in real time, they'll make you some money. Okay. Now, does anybody have a question on the mid-band trade? Because it's extremely important to know what the mid-band is. Okay. If you get a thrust change, you know, in other words, from a red background to a thrust up, you're looking for first time in the mid-band. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to run like a, you know, big dog. They don't. But we actually used this trade a little while ago. Right here got a trade, here got a trade, here got a trade, and here got a trade. And just simply traded the predictor. Okay. Now notice that we didn't really care what this was saying at the time. Although in a way we were, because we knew that our power meters were nice and strong. Now let me show you something that we purposely made this power meter 3 where it's a little quick, but remember the old identified swing? That's the most important thing to remember. Identified swing means the swing is identified. Now let's go to the Russell chart in the black chart, and I want to show you. I'm going to draw it on here. And you tell me again where it identifies, and then we're going to look at this chart. Bear with me a second. I'll get this one out of the way. And I'll bring up our black chart. Because I want you to see this in real time. Okay, real quick. Notice that this was at least 15 swing strength because it made the little swing. So you draw your line, right? But is that an identified swing? Is that actually identified yet? No, because it hasn't taken this out. So what if it makes a try at that and makes it lower? Is that an identified swing? See what they end up doing? They do these ABCs. And we made this nice and tight. I could actually have my programmer make it to where it has to be identified, but it's going to keep you out of some pretty good trades and some fast trend changes too. But we look at the charts and we know when they're identified. When would this swing be identified? Well, only if this would have done this, right? Would have had to taken that out. It didn't do that, so this swing is not identified. Now let's look again. Is the swing identified yet? Not really, in my opinion, it's not. Everybody see why? That's pretty much a top right there. So technically you could put your swing down here and think, okay, is that identified yet? Well, we don't know till tomorrow because that's the end of the day. At least what's been, as far as we are on this chart anyway, that's all the data I downloaded. Everybody see why this is still not an identified swing? Because this swing right here has not been taken out. And that's where you can really stay out of some of these trades that'll fake you. Like what if you shorted that right there? You wouldn't have gotten a dime. But wasn't our chart actually saying to stay long to begin with? Let's go over here and see. See there? It wasn't telling you to take shorts. That's actually a predictor trade, isn't it? Right now, as we speak, that's where I downloaded all my data, and that's as far as I went. But every single one of these trades tonight worked out, except for one of them that we saw in real time that it wasn't going to make it because it was absolutely, well, you could look to the left and you could see anytime there's just very little difference in your swings, you got to protect coin at the resistance areas. Let's see, if it's not identified, what does it mean, short or long? Well, Pervez, on your question, what I'm talking about on identified, let me just draw it for you real quick. I'm going to draw, let's just go back over here, and I'll show you. All right. Now, when you look at this chart right here, you got 12.1350, 12.1370. Is that swing identified at that point? Let's go back a little ways just so you can see. Is that swing identified right now with that only being 2 ticks above it? And the answer to that is no. Because to identify it, you really want it to take that out by at least, 5, 6, 7 ticks. Now, the reason that we put it on our meter, though, to be quicker than that is because we still have to look at our charts, okay? Because and you can tell it to identify it if you want. You can even tell it you want it to be 10 ticks above that or it isn't identified, okay? But see, this comes down a little bit. Now, is that swing identified there at 12.11, whatever that is right there, 12.1180? No, because it hasn't taken out the swing up here now. When does it become identified? Only when it takes out that swing. And see, that to me is identified. 12.1370 to like 15, that's easily identified. So then where's your area that you'd be looking for shorts? Right there. But you'd be looking for what? The safest trade that I taught tonight is wait for this to happen and wait for this to happen and then wait for the rollover. Okay? Let's see, even if it's going straight up with no close. Well, the one thing about Lightning, you'll still be able to see the previous swings on the Lightning 3 to begin with. Because, for instance, if this had drawn here, this had drawn here, this had come down here, even if these bars were straight up, this would still identify this swing, and that would show that 12.1180 as soon as it got that 15 swing strength. Yeah, if it really goes up, it'll be identified. Okay, Pervez, on your question, do you see that now? Because identified swings will make the world of difference in your trading. but you got to identify them first, because until a swing's identified, you really don't know what it's doing, because they can go sideways and they'll take out these swings by 4 or 5 ticks, maybe 2 more ticks, and then off they go. And that's why we give you this type of charts like this that show you the phantom trades. You know, like for instance, a phantom trade paid off big time, you know, because this would have gone to a red meter, because what did it do? Well, the way we've designed it is if it takes out this area right here, this is still what we call a lightning 3 swing. So when it takes that out by X close, then you'll get that red, okay? But that doesn't mean that trend's changing. You can also change your indicator if you want to. Lightning 3, you can actually put it on close ticks 10 if you want to. You know, because that means that you would have to close 10 ticks above this swing to identify that one. And then it wouldn't accidentally get you short so easily. But it's also going to be a little bit slower in getting those nice quick moves, okay? In other words, it would have to break this by 10 ticks for it to ever trigger it short if it had taken this one out to begin with. So the reason I leave mine on, you know, just 0 or even 2, for instance, is usually because we still know how to watch the charts, you know. And if you'll get in the habit of using these little predictors like this, and don't take them unless they come down and actually hit them, then you won't get suckered into trades as easily. You know, wait for it to hit the ellipse, wait for it to hit the ellipse, wait for the ellipse, ellipse, ellipse. That one hit an ellipse. That one did, but probably would have stopped you out. That one did never give you the trade. Well, yeah, it probably would have, so that could have stopped you out right there. And then, of course, you actually got a trend change on that, and we called that trade this morning in the room. Okay, but keep in mind that this was an identified swing, remember? Because this is your high, this is your low, this is a much higher high. So that particular trade right there is a break. Yeah, Ed called it in the room too. I remember you calling it. And we were watching for that trade. You don't have to take the thrust because they always pull back. If this was to just drop 80 ticks, then you know you just missed a trade and you'll have to wait for the pullback. Or you could hit the market button pretty quick. But the whole idea is they usually thrust, retrace. That is a kiss trade. Kisses are so nice, aren't they? All right, anybody have any final questions? I think I went over the predictor for scalps and targets, kiss trades after a thrust, that's your safest trade anyway, mid-band retracement trades, and I like a good thrust myself to pull back in the mid-band. Now, one thing you want to be careful on mid-bands is when you drop or go up like 80 ticks or so, be very careful on just jumping in right at mid-band. Let it show you the lightning move, and these meters will tell you where that's at. Okay, and then we didn't get a chance to talk about tight region breakouts, but truthfully, those are pretty easy to understand. At the opening of the market, we pretty much just box them in. You know, if this was 8 o'clock in the morning, for instance, this morning we were looking at this trade right here. Everybody remember this? We basically broke out of here, out of a little box right about 8 o'clock or so, came back and kissed it, and we got that trade this morning. Called it. How did we call it? The ellipse. That's the beautiful thing about those predictors right there. I think these are some of the best scripts that we've ever added. Predictor, power meter, and the lightning. Because you can tell by looking at the 4 trends what's going on your chart. Look at that right there. Remember we said thrust, retrace, big drop. Never checked it. See the little, where it just missed it? They always come back and check them. Those kiss trades are worth waiting for. All right. Hope everybody had learned something tonight, and we'll call them out live in the morning in the room. Thanks, everyone, and have a great day. Keep in mind, you do not have to hold trades forever. If you want to just learn how to scalp, We just simply scalped tonight, and we still got, you know, what, $1,700. That was just simply scalping, you know, a few contracts. That's not a bad way to trade. Okay? Thanks everyone for coming. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a great evening. Be available in about an hour, David. Yeah, I'll get it converted and everything and get it up on the web. Bye, everyone. Thanks.